What's going on? My name's Jonathan Smith. Thanks for checking out the channel. Hopefully you had a nice, happy Thanksgiving. I want to talk about the two big games from yesterday. The Bills dominating the 49ers and the Eagles really handling the Ravens, right? And that's where I want to start. The Eagles go into Baltimore yesterday and beat the Ravens pretty easily, 24-19. They do it without Devontae Smith. They do it without Darius Slay, two of their more important players. And even though the final score is 24-19, it doesn't show how dominant the Eagles really were. Okay, the Ravens scored a touchdown with a minute left to make it 24-19. It was really more like 24-12. Okay, like this was an impressive win for the Eagles, something that they've needed. Like a lot of their wins have come against lackluster teams. They beat the Commanders, but aside from that, there aren't too many impressive wins on that resume. And this win on the road in Baltimore has to be it is their most impressive win of the year. It's not even just that they beat the Ravens, it was how they did it. They just walked into Baltimore and ran the Ravens over. Jalen Hurts only threw the football 19 times. The Eagles ran it 33 times for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay, that's 4.2 yards per carry. Saquon Barkley with another game of 100 rushing yards and a touchdown. Okay, like they just walked in there and ran the ball whatever they wanted to. And this is a big win for the Eagles because, for me at least, maybe you're smarter than I am and you've already been on this train for a bit, but this solidifies them as a legitimate potential Super Bowl winning team. Okay, because I wanted to see them be dominant against a good football team, and that is exactly what we saw yesterday. They just went into Baltimore and imposed their will with this big, physical, dominant offensive line, and the defense came to play. The Ravens come out, they score 9 points in a flash. Okay, should have been 10, but Justin Tucker's washed, and if the Ravens really want to win a Super Bowl, they should cut him. And then from that point forward, they only managed to score 10 points the rest of the game. Part of that was Justin Tucker missing 2 field goals. Once again, washed, cut him if you really want to win in the playoffs. But the thing with the Ravens is, this is a team that scores touchdowns. This is not a team that has to settle for 4 field goals in a game very often. And I think that speaks to how much better this Eagles defense has gotten. And once again, they did it yesterday without arguably their best corner, Darius Slay. But even without him, they still played the Ravens incredibly well. And this is why the Eagles can win the Super Bowl. Their defense has greatly improved throughout the course of the season, right? Like that defense is legitimate now. Like that is a really good defense that Vic Fangio has really brought along with a lot of young players, especially on the back end of the defense between Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, who's awesome, by the way. Dude didn't absolutely play. So defensively, they're good, solid. We all know that the defensive front for the Eagles is uber talented. And then you look at the offense, they can run the ball whenever they need to, okay, because that's probably the second best offensive line in the NFL behind the Lions. Jalen Hurts is also capable of making plays when he needs to. We saw it on the Super Bowl run a few years ago. And so, like for me, watching that game, it just really spoke to how great this Eagles football team is. They went from, yes, they are clearly the second best team in the NFC to, are they better than the Lions? Are they? I don't think they are. But that is now a game that I have circled. Like, I can't wait for the playoffs when the Eagles play the Lions. And previously, that wasn't how I felt. I was just like, yeah, the Lions are probably just going to steamroll everybody. And then whoever they play in the NFC Championship game, whether it's Minnesota or Philly or whoever, they'll win by like a touchdown, but it won't really feel that close. That is not how I feel anymore. This Eagles team is legit. And they beat a really good Ravens team that people love. But I don't. I don't love the Ravens the same way that other people do. Their defense just isn't good enough. It's just not. Like, their defense isn't as good as the Bills or the Chiefs. And, look, I get why people like the Ravens. It's Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and they score a bunch of points, and their offense just grabs your attention immediately, and they run the football on everybody. And Lamar Jackson scrambles around and hits Zay Flowers 30 yards down the field like twice a game, and it's just fun, and it's exciting, and people really like them, and I get it. But they aren't as good as the Bills. If they were, they wouldn't be 8-5. Okay? I know the Ravens beat the Bills 35-10 back in September, but once again, that was back in September. The Bills have improved greatly since then, and I just don't feel like the Ravens have gotten better as the season has progressed, which isn't the end of the world for them because they were pretty freaking good to start the year. Okay? And then you look at the Bills, whose big hole at the start of the year was wide receiver. So they go out and they trade for Amari Cooper. And they help the vet, and weeks leading up to that, guys like Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman got a ton of reps and a ton of targets because they didn't have a guy like Amari Cooper, and they got better as the year progressed. And I look at the Ravens, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, I feel like they're the exact same team that they were week one. So, and also for the Bills, defensively, look, they're simply better than the Ravens. I don't think many people would dispute that, but they also got arguably their best defender back, who tore his bicep in the offseason, Matt Milano, their middle linebacker. He's back. He played last night. All right, and so they just added the best defensive player on their roster in week 12. Like, most teams don't get to do that. Like this Bills team has gotten better on both sides of the football, and we saw it last night. They beat the absolute dog out of the 49ers. And look, the 49ers aren't going to make the playoffs, but everyone knows and understands how talented that 49ers team is between McCaffrey, who sadly is going to be out for the rest of the year with a PCL injury. Everyone knows how good Deebo Samuel and George Kittle and Brock Purdy and that offense is. And I get it. It was snowing. It was weird, but usually the 49ers would be like, okay, we're just going to run the football. And the Bills didn't allow them to do that. Like, they just beat the absolute crap out of them last night. And for me, it was a really impressive win. And it just further shows us that the Bills are the best team in the AFC. They're better than the Chiefs right now. Now, will they be better than the Chiefs on a random Sunday night in January when it's 7 degrees outside? I don't know. We'll see. They usually aren't, but maybe this is the year that they finally kind of get over that Chiefs-sized hump. Okay, like the Bills and Ravens are the two best teams in the AFC. When you look at the Ravens, the offense, it might be the best one in the NFL, which is really scary to kind of doubt because when your offense is as good as the Ravens is, you can just have a Sunday where you score a boatload of points, and it doesn't matter who you play, they aren't going to stop you, and you can win 42-38 or whatever it is. Like that is the reality of the Ravens. And I've got no questions about the offense. The issue that I have with the Ravens is the defense. Like, this Ravens defense is not good enough to beat the Chiefs or the Bills in the playoffs, which is a really weird statement to make. Almost as weird as saying that Justin Tucker's washed. But seriously, the Ravens have one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. I just watched the Eagles run all over them. All over them. And we're different, Super Bowl contending teams have gotten better. For example, the Eagles defense has gotten better. The Bills have gotten better at wide receiver, right? Where those two teams have improved, the Ravens haven't fixed any of their issues. They haven't fixed these issues that they have on defense. And it's very weird to think about. But the Ravens defense is likely going to keep them from potentially winning a Super Bowl. That is the reality for the Ravens. They are simply not good enough on defense. And if they want to have a chance to beat the Chiefs or the Bills, but potentially both, because they're probably going to be I guess that they'll be a wild card team, right? So they're probably going to have to beat both the Bills and the Chiefs if they want a chance to win a Super Bowl. Like, that defense has got to fix their issues in this final month of the season. If they don't, then, they'll be watching the Super Bowl just like you and me, at home on their couch. And obviously, I don't want that to happen. I like Lamar Jackson. He's fun to watch. It'd be great to watch him play in a Super Bowl. But until they fix those issues on defense, it's not going to happen. So, Eagles, it's a really good football team. The Bills look like the best team in the AFC after that dominant win last night. Can't wait to see how the final month of the season unfolds. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, answer this question for me in the comments. Who do you like more, the Ravens or the Bills? And do you like the Lions or the Eagles more? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. I'll be back again with another video for you. Hopefully, once again, you had a happy Thanksgiving, and I will talk to you tomorrow.